Welcome to Talks with Tracy, with certified hypnotherapist, life coach, and licensed mental health professional, Tracy Claremont. Tracy will share her healing journey and explore the many meaningful alternative healing methods in our world today that will support you in doing your own deepest emotional healing. So please welcome the host of Talks with Tracy, Tracy Claremont. Let the suffering end and the healing begin.
Hello and welcome to Talks with Tracy. I'm your host, Tracy Claremont, coming to you live on the Bold Brave Television Network. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I appreciate everyone who takes the time to listen to the show. And thank you, Bold Brave Television Network, for giving me this beautiful opportunity. So I just want to say happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Last Sunday was Mother's Day. I hope everybody was well celebrated and appreciated and loved and honored. You know, that's what Mother's Day is meant for, right? It's that, for me, it's that one day out of the year where I just get to kind of sit back and expect things to be done for me, right? Instead of taking care of everybody else. So, I was kind of thinking about how crazy it is that that's done one day a year. And I mean, wouldn't it be great if it was like one day a month or something like that? I don't know, it really should be. And be like, hey, it's January Mother's Day. That'd be so awesome. So I was actually taking the time to ask people, how was your Mother's Day? And I got a wide range of responses, all the way from, oh, it was great. We had a barbecue and we visited. It was so much fun, all the way to the other end of the spectrum where, some people are a little disappointed. They're like, it was like any other day, nothing really happened. And I even had one person tell me that her husband wasn't very nice on that day. And he just kind of said, well, you're not my mom, so why should I have to do anything for you? Ugh. I felt for her, and it kind of made me wonder what's going on with him and what's going on with her to kind of accept that, right? Anyway, so yeah, I got a wide spectrum of responses, and I'm really hoping that the majority of you out there had a beautiful experience. One of the things that I have struggled with throughout my own motherhood experience is achieving balance in my life. I spent 30 years being a mom. I have adult kids, and I started over with raising two of my grandkids from the time they were born. So I am mom to them. And I have, especially in the past, really lost sight of myself within my mothering and caretaking. And I'm guessing there's a lot of people out there who have done the same. Now, I will say I am better at it now. When I get to that place where I'm feeling just completely drained and depleted, and that feeling like you just fall, like collapse into bed and feel like you can't do anymore because you're doing so much caretaking and balancing, or not balancing because you're out of balance, but doing so many things. um, that place where you just are emotionally and energetically depleted. I do better with not getting to that point so much now, but I'm a work in progress. I have those relapses into those moments. And then I really need to take the time to notice what's happening with me and shift some things that I'm doing so that I can bring focus back to myself and achieve a better balance. Because, being depleted is just not sustainable. I can't live like that anymore. And I did for many, many years. So, anyway, if any of that sounds familiar, then this is the show for you. I have the amazing friend to the show, Suzy Wu, with me here today to really talk about motherhood. How do we even know how to be moms? And once we are moms and caretakers, how do we balance that so there's some time for ourselves without getting to that point where we're just exhausted and depleted? So she is here to talk about all of that with us. I love her insights and her perspectives that she brings to the show. Now, if this is the first time hearing of the amazing Suzy Wu, Let me tell you about her. She is an internationally recognized energy healer, a trainer and teacher of healing arts. I am a student of hers. I'm so thankful. A psychic medium, an astrology guide, a sound healing practitioner, and a past life regressionist. Oh my gosh, she's so many incredible things. And she is here with us today, and I am so very happy. Oh, she also is does retreats, which are amazing, and she just happens to have a retreat coming up that is for caregivers who are emotionally and energetically drained and in need of renewal. So, who better than to talk about this with us today? So, please join me in welcoming the amazing and beautiful Suzy Wu back to the show.
Yay! Good morning. It's so nice to be back with
Yay!
you.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. I know I've kind of asked a lot of you with having you on, but I just love having you to help me talk about these things. And when I'm thinking of what to talk about on the show, I kind of, well, you taught me. I love the way you say you see better with your eyes closed. So I have also come to realize that I also see better with my eyes closed. So when I'm trying to think of topics, I'll close my eyes and I'll just kind of see what comes to me, and then afterwards, I'll look for synchronicities that kind of reinforce that what I'm supposed to talk about. And I had caretaking and Mother's Day and motherhood on my mind. And then I saw an email advertisement for your retreat that you have coming up later this month for caregivers. So I just want to start by asking you, what prompted you, Suzy, to start retreats for caregivers? Obviously, you were seeing a need. So, can you tell me about what you've seen and why you decided to do retreats like that?
Yes, it all starts with the black sheep of the family. I don't know if I would call that a syndrome or not, but it is those that are very sensitive normally that have a sense of rejection because that level of sensitivity is experienced by the minority. And when somebody doesn't understand how to relate to what a sensitive person is expressing, a lot of times they'll get agitated and angry, and they'll
Mm,
try to shut the other person down or talk over them. And it's because that person is not in touch with that facet of themselves. However, everybody is not constructed the same. Like, we all have a different recipe card. And oddly enough, it does weave into astrology. And it's far more than just your regular sun sign. And so this is able to be easily detected, read,
mm,
screened. I hate labels, but it's very easy to know if you're kind of like on the map or not as a sensitive person. And so people that are sensitive, or now there's a label, HSP, highly sensitive people,
mm,
but really the origin of that, we identify with that black sheep syndrome: rejection, being grossly misunderstood, people just saying, well, you're too sensitive. And it's very demeaning, um,
mm,
because it's invalidating a person and how they feel and how they perceive their world. And
mm,
because this is my practice, my livelihood, because I am a sensitive person, and when I was a child, my mother would always say, Suzy, you're so naive. You're so gullible. And, I'm a child, so I don't even understand what those words mean.
mm,
And all I understood it was there was something that you're not accepting of me. I mean, on a subconscious
mm,
level, because I'm too young to understand those words. And then, I remember my father always, like, if I did something, I'll call it stupid, what kids do. Like, I don't even have an
mm,
example, but oh, I have an example. I I once started a dish towel on fire. I was playing with a lighter and I just
mm,
over a sink, and I started the dish towel on fire, and then I put it out and I hid the burnt dish towel in between the sink and the refrigerator. So, of course it's going to be discovered and found. And my father would always say, "What's the matter with you?" How do you answer that? How do you answer that? And so
Right.
those kinds of things are those are some examples when somebody doesn't understand who they are, and when others don't get them. Well, these people will grow up to enter into service. I want to help people in whatever capacity it is. And then so it is in alignment with who the person is, but sooner rather than later, they realize they're in kind of deep, like over their head. And now I want to help people. I want to help people. So they get into nursing and caretaking and working with special needs populations. But they need help too. They need support too. And that's the one thing the sensitive needs, which is I think is very hard to find, aligned support. It's not going to be a traditional, conventional psychologist or psychotherapist, because there's not a single issue. There's not one problem. There's nothing that they would like find on the DSM. I don't know what number they're up to, 4, 5, 6, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, about like clinical depression or things like this, because sensitive people do tend to get depressed, do tend to be withdrawn, do tend to be a loner, cannot really handle being around a lot of people. And so it's easy to know if you're a sensitive, you're going to not do well. Like you're not going to go to a big concert. But what will happen, let's say your family bought you a ticket and they don't understand that you really can't handle being around large amounts of people, and you go along to get along and you shut down, and then your family kind of pokes fun at you. Well, you're too sensitive, or just get through it, or just tough it up, or here, have this alcohol drink to loosen your nerves, or whatever it is. And none of those are going to be a viable solution to a highly sensitive person. And those people will enter a lot of times into relationships that are grossly imbalanced, where the person then loses a sense of self and will just go along to get along. And that is why I do what I do.
Yes. So would you say that part of the reason highly sensitive people go into kind of caretaker fields or wanting to help other people, and then also go into relationships that don't serve them, is because of that misunderstanding that they've received and criticism that they've received, like having to push down who they really are and be somebody else? So does that also like contribute to them losing their own sense of self and who they are?
It does, because they have to recharge or replenish. It's like when your phone battery is drained, it's not going to work. So you have batteries too. You have spiritual batteries, and those are your 7 main chakras of the body. Those are spiritual batteries, and they all work in tandem with each other at all times. And so when part of you is getting depleted and drained, the others are trying to pump energy there, but eventually you're going to pass out, you're going to give out, you're going to burn out, you're going to fall into depression, you're going to maybe go into escapism methods like drinking or drugging or gaming or whatever, because you can't deal with the elephant in the room, which is you're afraid to speak up, put your foot down, and form healthy boundaries.
Right. Which happens in motherhood too, right?
Big time, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody is not cut out to be a nurturing, typical Donna Reed mother, or whatever the figure, whatever the ideal mother is. Most of us didn't have that. And even the father, like the parental figures that we selected, gave us a form of identity which usually is not actually who we truly are. And so many people are guilt tripped over the parent to child relationship. Well, you're my mother, you should blah blah blah. Well, what if I have my own unhealed trauma, which most of us have unhealed trauma? We're going to project that, or we're going to internalize that, and we're not available to be a good, nurturing, supportive parent because we weren't shown how.
Yes, I totally agree. Absolutely. And again, then, so you're saying like the question for people who are becoming mothers can be like, how do I do this? How do I even be a mom? A lot of times we'll have in our heads, well, I know what I don't want to do because,
Which is healthy.
yeah, right. It is. But then I also hear those same people saying, oh my God, I'm doing it.
Right,
I'm doing,
exactly.
you know,
Because
because
we
it's
repeat
familiar.
what we know until we have an internal awakening saying this is not the life I want. I'm not happy, or I'm not fulfilled, or something's missing, or I'm not in my purpose, any of those kinds of things. But when it comes to being a parent, you sacrifice everything, really. But there is no normal. So I can't say, shoulda, coulda, woulda. It doesn't truly
Right.
exist outside of the stigma of what the Hallmark cards, the stuff that they put through the media. That is our programming. And that
Mm-hmm.
sets unrealistic expectations about what we should and shouldn't be doing. I mean, there's mostly single parent households. And what happens when you have parents like me who don't like each other? They kind of put on a good act, but when I'm up in my room, I hear them fighting. And so that is going to lead me, as an example, to not
Mm-hmm.
understand what love looks like, what support looks
Mm-hmm.
like. Like, I was my mother's therapist as a little girl. So that's not healthy.
That
And
is
so
so not
what I
healthy.
no, and so what I've come to do is become who I needed so that I could integrate that. And now I teach everything that I know. And so as a holistic psychotherapist and an energy healer, I can very quickly and easily identify where are the parental woundedness, who was not available, or who made you had to grow up fast. And just a little astrology woven in. If somebody has Saturn or Capricorn in their fourth or fifth house, that's childhood, that's home, family, roots. I know that that person either left home early or had to grow up too fast. They may have had a parent, their parents, or had to take care of younger siblings when they were not able to cognitively, emotionally, because they were still young.
Mm.
And then you're
Right.
going to
And
grow up
then,
with resentment,
right, I was just going to say, and then how does that play itself out in your adulthood?
anger,
Yeah.
and I didn't get to have my childhood and it's all your fault. Well, that's not going to serve anybody because it's water under the bridge. There's nothing you can do about it except for go on your own healing journey and get rid of that agitation, because stored anger is going to turn into stomach cancer. And if you don't let go of your crap, it's going to end up as colon cancer. It's going to end up as anything in the excretion or the lymphatic system, because your physical body is an outcome. When we have unprocessed emotions, um, over a period of time, it's going to finally solidify in the physical body as an outcome. So, whatever your current state of health is, your quality of life is, that is an outcome based on the way that you were molded and trained and formed as a little child.
Wow. Yeah, I totally agree. I absolutely agree with that. And, um, again, just from having trained under you and whatnot, I know that at times you talk about getting back to our true essence, and you have talked about all of us being pure love and light energy, right? Who, were born into this world as that, and then we begin to have experiences, and we begin to be programmed and conditioned to view ourselves as something different. And so I uh, started doing this little exercise with clients of mine where I just kind of have them close their eyes and visualize a newborn baby, like, and I ask them, like, what words describe this newborn baby that you're visualizing. And people will say things like innocence and purity and things like that. I will say that, and working with one client of mine who had a considerable amount of trauma, early in life and throughout life, when I did that visualization with her, her word was terrifying. That's where she
Mm-hmm.
went. And I was like, oh, terrifying. Okay. It was not my intention to bring about a feeling of terror in her, but it really spoke to um, her experience of being parented herself and her fears about her own ability to love and nurture and care for. Yeah, it was every once in a while I had like these real eye-opening kind of moments, and that was one of
Yeah.
them.
One of the
But
exercises in some of the trainings that I do, and this was included in what in your training as well, is we do a little visualization of a playground scene with children playing, a lot of children running around and playing in the playground, and somebody falls down and hurts their knee, and then a mother enters the scene, and then all of a sudden we stop, and what do you feel? And then after asking, some people don't feel good, and those people had an unsupportive mother. And so just using visualization and seeing how that is received to each individual is clearly a direct mirror. And that's so important to have the level of awareness. And you don't want to get angry about it, because your higher self, the intelligence of your body, the smart body, is showing you this is available for healing. And so that's
mm,
why we want to move out of the anger, agitation, and resentment and blame, and say, thank you, creator, higher self, whatever you address that as,
mhm,
because now I can address what still needs to be healed. This is available for me to process.
right. Yeah, because if we don't have awareness of it, how do we know to heal it? And
Right. And we'll
I
just
think,
project it or internalize
right.
it.
Yeah, project it, internalize it, repeat it, those kind of
Mm-hmm.
things. Yeah. I know that uh, in my own journey, in my own healing, my own awareness, it took, I was like in my 40s when I really started to develop my awareness and say, whoa, Trace, this is not okay. Why are you doing this and that? How can we shift this? What needs to happen? And really went into my own empowerment, my own spiritual growth. But I have to say that all of, or the majority of my kids were already out of the home by then. It would have been kind of
So then
nice
there's
if
some
I'd have done
repair
it
work to be had then, right?
right, done it a little bit earlier, and maybe been, I don't know. And I know everything happens for a reason. And I'm not saying I have regrets. I'm just saying that on this healing trajectory, we do a lot of living before we get to that place. And then and then we can show a different way of living, and we can express to our kids about why we do things the way we do now, and whatnot. Is that correct? Like, that's the repair?
Yeah. Yeah. So because of like my circumstance, I'm loaded with regrets and guilt and shame because I was an
Mm,
unavailable parent. Um,
mm,
I had become an alcoholic, a
mm,
functional one, working full time, and my ex and I, all we did was fight all the time. And
mm,
so my children had unavailable parents, and after finally getting out of that relationship and staying out and honoring them, my children, I promised them I would never go back again. And then as I healed, it gave them permission to see me as a human being, because the most terrifying thing was realizing they didn't know who I was as a person. But then I realized I didn't know who I was, and that was just mortifying. And I really fell apart when I had that realization, and like not even knowing like what things do I like it's very, very scary to realize how disconnected from yourself you become. But as you start to reconnect with yourself through guidance, counseling, therapy, healing modalities, you're going to start to realize that your children, wherever they are in their life, they're either going to, because you're going to be different from what they knew you as. And if they have become manipulative and you start healing and plug it into who you are, then they're not going to like it. And they're going to rattle your cage, get back down there because I'm this way because I'm I'm still in blame mode. And that's going to create a lot of resilience or I think rebellion, um, kind of rejection a little bit. But that now gives the child an ability to kind of unplug from that persona who they knew and figure their stuff out. And it's not going to be the mom or the father or whoever the parent is that is going to be able to heal them. And that is what hurt me too, because I wanted to be able to be there now because I couldn't then. And, some of I've got 3 children, like everybody wasn't on board. Um, Somebody still likes to hold on to, my unavailability or my lack or whatever it was. And it doesn't matter how many different ways you approach it. Some people are just, they're steadfast in their ways. That is your identity. That's who you always have been to me. And you're never going to be anything different, even though that might not be said. Then it's very painful because you actually have to disconnect a little bit and say, you know what, to yourself, this is my healing journey. I matter. I'm not who I used to be. And I'll prove it just to yourself. Because if you say, I'll prove it to you, that's going to create, this butting of heads. And so as you go on your healing journey, then they have a choice. They're either going to say, yeah, you really are changing, and that gives me permission to heal, and I see you differently now, and now I might even forgive you, which thank goodness I have accomplished with all of my children. They're all grown, but I'm really, 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 really grateful for that. But a lot of us don't get that. A lot of my clients are written off. Like their kids have completely completely cut them off, or the parent completely cut off the child because one is so extremely toxic that they just can't deal with that.
Oh, so it's almost time to take a commercial break, but I do want to share just like a little thing that my daughter shared with me. She was probably around 9 years old at this time, and I had um, gone through a divorce and had realigned my life and just had made a lot of big, really difficult changes and whatnot. And I remember her saying, and it was expensive. Divorces are expensive. I was regaining my financial footing and emotionally and physically, everything, just trying to get back on track. And my little girl, she looked at me and she said, Mom, how come we have so much less money, but we do so much more? And because I was always like, oh, we don't have money for that, but we can do this. And I told her it's because I'm no longer depressed and anxious. And what I was trying to tell her was I'm available to you now. And it doesn't cost money to be available to your kids. There's so many things you can do that don't cost anything, right? But
Right.
yeah, she was kind of like, why do we have so much less money, but we do so much more together? And I'm like, because and I'm recognizing and I'm really truly valuing, not that I didn't value it before, but my mind was in, just a mess. but I was really recognizing that and valuing the time, just the time to be with and
Yeah.
engage with my kids. And I think that's what you're talking about as well. When
Yeah.
you're in those other moments and states, it's you're so caught up in other things that you're not available to your children the way that is
Exactly.
healthy. Yeah, well, thank you for that. Let's take a brief commercial break. And when we return, we'll continue our discussion and we'll kind of get into. I want to ask you about those chakra points, that are our energy systems and our points, and how, when they get depleted, how we can reboot and get back on track. So you're watching Talks with Tracy on Bold Brave Television Network. We'll be right back.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to easysense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's easysense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness: Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back to Talks with Tracy. I have the honor and privilege of visiting with the amazing Suzy Wu. Thank you again, Suzy, for being here. You know, before the break, we were talking about some of the challenges with caretaking and motherhood, and you know, our past experiences and whatnot. And one of the I love to do little quotes, and one of the quotes that I have from you is, you say caregivers seldom have any reserve of energy for their own needs. That's something that you have said, and I was wondering if we could kind of talk about kind of recharging our spiritual batteries, as you refer to our chakra centers as, um, and really achieving that balance. You know, I said that I myself have fallen out of balance, and even today, every once in a while, I fall out of balance with myself, and kind of fall into over caretaking, meaning just doing it continually and not taking care of myself. So, can we talk about how we might recharge our spiritual battery and reboot?
Absolutely. So, are we frozen?
I don't think we're. I think our pictures are freezing a little bit and a little pixelated, but I think we could
Okay.
still be heard.
Okay. Alrighty. And so, when we are always giving, 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 you're going to run out of gas.
Mm,
And when we start feeling a little bit out of sync, uh, things can happen. Like we, walk into the wall, we trip over our feet, we become ungrounded. And if you feel that this is happening to you, some of the things that you can do to recharge your root chakra, that is your survival skills, your own needs, which is food, shelter, clothing, and also a sense of belonging. So that is something that we hadn't touched on yet, but it just kind of showed up, and I always follow what comes in. We do need a sense of belonging, and that gets detached when you are a caregiver, when you are a parent, and you are give, when you are a giver type. And one of the things you can do is actually get out and hug a tree, put your hands on a tree. You want to take a really nice, deep cleansing breath all the way down to the flats of your feet. Release the breath, put your hands on a tree, and close your eyes. And what's going to happen is you're going to feel these little tingles or little vibrations, and you're going to feel as if that tree is growing teeny tiny little roots and starts wrapping itself around you as if it's giving you a hug. And if you were to be able to look at this energetically, you start glowing, and you and the tree for that moment is sharing one aura. Very powerful, very cool, because trees are living. Okay, so anything that is living, don't do it with a dead tree. You won't have the same experience. And if you can have your bare feet on the earth, on the soil, on the grass, versus a concrete driveway, or blacktop, you want it to be on soft earth, on the grass, on the soil, in the babbling brook, to be able to re-ground yourself. And then that will help to restabilize you at the root energy center. And in there, now that the next thing it's taking me to is define purpose. Okay, so you are not born to be a martyr, to bleed out so everybody else can live. But that is how,
I think
that
that's
is the
really important for people to hear.
yeah, that is one of the foundations of some of the religions, though, is that it's not about self-empowerment. It is all about sacrifice. And that church honors those who sacrifice. Well, you have to honor who you are and understand that you have creator energy inside of you. And if you are always giving and there's nothing left, then you are not the best version of yourself to offer anything extra. You must replenish your energy. And so the next point in the body, your sacral chakra, that's your emotional body. That is where we hold on to guilt and shame. And it's our creative center too. So many times we've been made to feel bad about, I wanted to do this, or I've always wanted to visit there. Well, why would you want to do that? And okay. And I shrink down. And then I dismiss what I really wanted to do. All right. So when you're a caregiver, your needs are not first, because you are responsible for whoever you're taking care of, whether it's a child, a sibling, or a parent, or if you do this as a career. It's mandatory to recharge your batteries. You must get good rest. You have to have good sleep at night, quality sleep, deep sleep, by turning off your screens, a good at least an hour before you retire for the evening. Work
You
with
know,
all of the colors of the rainbow. Yeah.
one of the things I remember you saying to me too is it's not helpful to anybody if you're a mom who's, and I'm not judging at all because I've been this mom before, but if you're a mom who's trying to hold it together long enough for the kids to go to sleep so you can get in the shower and cry, that's
Mm-hmm.
not helpful to anybody. And again, I'm not passing judgment because I was literally that mom for quite a long time. Before I really put into motion changes in my life. But you're just not certainly not serving yourself, and you're not able to serve others in any capacity either when you are at that place. And I agree that our society really, especially with as far as towards mothers, really has this like, if you do anything for yourself, then you're just flat selfish. Why are you taking that time for
Exactly.
yourself? You have children, and it's just so layered in our society. It's
Yeah,
heartbreaking.
it is. Honestly, it truly is. Define what makes you you. What do you really enjoy doing, and allow yourself time to do that. Caregivers always put themselves on the back burner. There are certain sets of
Mm-hmm.
behaviors that go with being a caregiver, like by nature. So people who
Mm-hmm.
are nurturers are what I'm saying. People who are always
Mm-hmm.
running around making sure everybody has what they need and donate their time. And, oh, I'll make the macaroni salad for the family picnic. Oh, I'll run around and collect all the baskets for the charity thing. Oh, 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 oh. Well, where is the time for you? And it's always on the back burner, but I'll do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it when the kids
Mm-hmm.
graduate. I'll do it when I'm an empty nester. Well,
Yeah.
tomorrow never comes because you're
Uh-huh.
still in that repeating pattern. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times it actually comes from a need to be needed. And so early
Mm-hmm.
rejection of care or concern, let's say you're a little kid and your mom's upset over something, and you go up to console her and she makes you feel that, oh, you wouldn't understand. That's a rejection. And so
Mm-hmm.
you at least want to offer something. Well, I'm sad right now, and it's okay to be sad, and I won't be sad forever. It's just a little period, or it's a little time that
Mm-hmm.
I'm sad, and it's okay. That's all you have to tell a child. Instead of
Right,
denying
right.
it or refusing it or turning your child away or you wouldn't understand, give them something that is
Mm-hmm.
age
Or
appropriate, that is not giving them the burden of why you're sad.
right. That's what I was going to say. Or turning them into your therapist, which you had
Exactly.
mentioned you had become
Yeah,
in your
it's just
childhood.
not a
Yeah.
it's not a good protocol.
It's
And
not.
to be able, I mean, you don't want to have, emotional breakdowns in front of your children, because that's traumatizing as well. But by the same token, you don't want to deny it by pretending everything is fine when it's not, because children
Mm-hmm.
are extremely open and very energetically sensitive. All children are, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can't lie
Mm-hmm.
to a child, because they have that sixth sense that has not been shut down yet. And if I'm upset and I'm telling my kid I'm not and everything's fine, they feel it,
Mm-hmm.
they know it. And so
And that's
it's
scary.
healthy to, yeah, it's healthy to say, shorten it and simplify it so that it is age appropriate without shoveling it off onto them, and let them know it's nothing they did
Absolutely.
wrong, and it's
Mm-hmm.
and it's fleeting. In age appropriate terms, it's going to pass. Something happened and it made me
Right.
sad, and then accept your child's love. Now, there are some
Mm-hmm.
people who are just not touchy feely people. It is their nature, it's not their fault, and there's nothing wrong with them. But when you have a parent who is not a touchy feely person, we need physical touch. So now that's
Mm-hmm.
another kind of can of worms. And that is, a lot of times, it
Right.
is the sign of Aquarius, whether it is the sun, the moon, or planets in Aquarius. Um, that is not touchy feely at all. It's like, I'm going to love you, but I love you in my own way. Stop touching me. This is detrimental to a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to come up and climb all
Mm-hmm.
over you. And I have
Yeah.
clients who are that parent, and they feel guilty,
Mm-hmm.
but they just hate to be touched.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all of
Right.
these things. And also, this stuff is not a life sentence. That's important. I wanted to say in the beginning, everything that you have is not a life sentence. We are not static. We are always in a state of
Mm-hmm.
growth unless you close your mind. Once you close your mind, you can write yourself off. But if you keep your open mind and open heart, then you are able to grow, which means you can grow new neural pathways, new beginnings, new insights, rebuilding your life, and learning new ways to love yourself and new ways to heal through forgiveness. And, it doesn't hurt to ask for forgiveness for being unavailable, if that was the case, or to say to your parent, if you have the opportunity, imagine how bad they had it to be the way that they were. It's not okay for you as the child, but at least to have an outside look, because everyone is not born angry. Even with people that are abusive, they weren't born that way. They were taught to either bottle
Right.
up their emotions or whatever it is. And so what you're dealing with is an unhealed child as an adult.
Right. So one of the things I love about when you come on to Suzy is that you have little exercises that you do with people that just kind of flow out of you in such a beautiful way. And like in thinking about kind of rebooting our spiritual battery and um, just kind of renewing a little bit, I was going to ask if you have any kind of exercise that we could just kind of do together before the
Yes,
show
it's
and
actually
begin with.
welling up right this second.
Is it? It's welling up. Amazing. I can't wait.
Yeah, so, all right, so let's move into it. So I am going to invite all of our watchers and listeners to just rest your eyes closed
Mm.
and to bring your awareness down into your heart just for a moment, knowing that you are in a safe and sacred space. In this right now moment, absolutely no harm may come to you. In this right now moment, you are safe. Allow these words to be your own. Maybe hear them in your own voice or even maybe say them out loud. And put your hands over your heart. Breathe into your heart. In this right now moment, I am safe. It is safe to be in my own skin. I am learning new ways to love myself every day. I allow myself to feel the energy of Mother Earth beneath my feet. And now using some energy, I'm going to help gather that beneath your feet, summoning up the essence from the core of Mother Earth, bringing that beautiful strength, massive, stabilizing energy, because Earth is very large. And no matter what you go through in your life, you are not going to fall off the face of the earth. As silly as that sounds, it is a core truth, and we must speak truth to ourselves to build self-trust. And so I will not ever fall off the face of the earth. The earth does have my back. And I now invite this beautiful, stabilizing energy to cushion beneath my feet in this right now moment. And now I invite this energy to come into my feet, up my feet, up my legs, into my hips, into my groin area, and to stabilize my hips and the base of my spine. Very good. And now we're going to invite down a beautiful lavender light from the sky, from the heavens, from the God of your understanding, your higher self. We're going to invite a beautiful lavender color frequency down above our head. And this is your universal connection to all that is. You are love. You are pure essence. You are photon energy. You are infinite. You are love itself. Regardless of your birth or conception story, you are creator energy. And that is beautiful and perfect in and of itself. We now invite that lavender light down into the top of our head, allowing it to illuminate our full head. I am love itself. The world celebrates that I am here. I chose to be here at this time. And that lavender light now comes down through our throat and neck and joins where we are in our own heart space, and expanding the light in our chest to glow brighter and bigger. And now there's friends or friendly energy in that heart space. Keep your awareness in your chest, in this glow ball of light. And you may have a feeling or a sense of departed loved ones who are asking to join you in love, almost in ceremony, to celebrate your existence. They are celebrating you. And based on your own childhood, you may or may not have been able to perceive this, but it is there and available for you now. Allow yourself to receive this beautiful healing energy from your spirit guides as well, and all versions of yourself, your past lives, your present lives, and your future lives, encouraging you to find the light within, embody it, love it, embrace it, align to it. This is the light of pure truth. This is who you are. This is energy that may never be destroyed. You change states of matter with every lifetime that you have. And now the old rocks on the outside of the heart energy, that crusty energy, is starting to shake and break away. And the core of your heart energy is brighter and brighter. And breathe into this beautiful heart healing space, welcoming the support of your spirit guides, your own many lifetimes, your departed loved ones that cherish you, and receive this wave of forgiveness, understanding, increased self-worth, self-healing through forgiveness, the ability to stand in one's integrity. You are who you are. Don't try to change who you are. Accept all of who you are and be excited about who you are becoming. I accept that I will create healthy boundaries so that I allow myself to now become rebalanced. I now understand I must allow to receive, and I cannot only give. It is not fair to myself or to those that I care for and about. Receive, receive, receive. Allow this beautiful, sparkling, replenishing energy to fill you now, not only in your heart, but it's emanating outwards, up into the shoulders and down your arms, into your hands, up through your throat and sparkling up your head. Your full torso lit up, your abdomen, hips, and growing down your legs, illuminating sparkling energy into the knees, calves, shins, ankles, and feet. You are one ginormous glowing ball of photon energy, unique, powerful, brave, and love itself. Do not diminish your light. Keep it bright for yourself and as a lighthouse for others. A lighthouse will never give away its light. You are that lighthouse. Breathe. And now we're going to count back from 5 to 1 as we start to absorb, process, and bring ourselves back to a higher level of awareness while still being in the body. 5 and 4, start to feel yourself. 4 and 3, being aware of your own breath and where your skin ends and the air around you is beginning. 3 and 2, notice your breathing becoming more normal and feeling your senses behind your eyes. 2 and 1. And then one nice deep breath. And let us open our eyes with a beautiful smile. Because when we
Perfect.
smile, it
Beautiful.
does good things. And here we are.
So much for that. I strongly encourage everybody out there just to take a few minutes and have that for yourself. Just listen, close your eyes. We can all carve out, a few minutes of our day just to go inward and honor ourselves. So what a beautiful way. And people can listen to that over and over. And I hope that everybody does. Can you tell us real quick how we can get a hold of you and where you're going to be and whatnot? So
Yeah.
it's almost time to be done.
Yep. Replay that piece over and over and go
Yes.
over. You will get healing every single time, I promise you. You could follow sign up for my newsletter, Woozletter. All of my events are listed on my website, suzy-woo.com, doing retreats across the United States. I'm always open to go to a new town, reach out, sign up for the newsletter. And I'm always so grateful to be here with you, Tracy. So thank you again for having me on.
Thank you so much for being here. And I can't wait to have you back. I have all these things that I need help discussing. So we'll be figuring out some more dates. But it's time to go now. So thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. And Suzy and I are sending you a true love and appreciation. And we will see you next week. Do a little self-care out there, please. This has been Talks with Tracy on Bold Brave Television Network. We'll see you next time.
This has been Talks with Tracy. Join us each week as Tracy and her guests will come together and realize that underneath it all, we are all the same and never alone. So join us each week and let Talks with Tracy be your safe place to land in your healing journey. Right here, Thursdays, 11 a.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network.